Alright, so for today's video, I'm going to be teaching you guys about Grand Crusade, giving you a little quick guide. If you want a more advanced guide, I would go suggest watching MOP's video. I'm currently recovering from a sickness. I have the flu. But yeah. So anyways, you're going to go to here. You're going to hit area list. Now, when you get to episode 1, this is basically easy mode. You only got 2 areas. They aren't going to use any stamina whenever you travel tiles. But yeah, and then also there's this effect on the top. Pay attention to this. Because when you get to later floors, it will change. Sometimes it's going to be really hard. Sometimes it will one-shot your units depending on their race. So just keep a lookout for that. When you get to episode 2, let me just show you guys what I have done. So at area 1, I basically made 4 nuke teams and 1 sustain team. Let me just show you guys here. So here's my sustain team. Here's my first nuke team. So I'm using Divine Arachnid Tears. Honestly, Chloe could be any unit. I'll probably switch her to Mia later just for like a stat buff. Because leader gets more regalia gauge. Now this regalia gauge is really important, guys. So pretty much what you want to do is it's important to charge your regalia gauge for all these units because when it gets to later floors, it's going to get more difficult and more difficult. Regalia gauge affects your team a lot more. Like if you have a higher regalia gauge stat, you're going to benefit a lot more when it comes to later stages because you're going to get more damage resistance, you're going to get more HP, you're going to deal more damage. It just gives you general buff stats to everything. So it's important that you charge your regalia gauge. Now what I've done here is I made 5 different nuke teams and they're all just auto nuke teams. So the first one I use Divine Arachnid's Tears. That gives everybody like 200 arc gauge. Then I use Evil Eye's Mask and Shooting Star to give them 300 arc gauge. And yeah, they just do a bunch of damage. Here I use HK Roy's passive to give everybody enough arc gauge. Here I use War God Fen and 12G, and that gives everybody like 150 arc gauge. And then yeah, just a few Genji Pest equips. That's my auto nuke team. And then here I have my J passive. I use Forte's passive, and yeah, Terra Conjunction, and that's enough arc gauge. And then this is my sustain team, which I might change to like Sunraku or something like that later on, or somebody that can put down evasion res down. So maybe I'll use Diablo at some point. Yeah, who knows? But area 1, I suggest that you go the max you can do. Now I think you only have 3 unlocked. I would suggest then switching to 4 when you can, and then 5 until you get to area 50. Now, when you get to area 50, it's important that you here, let me just switch to area 50. When you get to area 50, it's important that you switch this to actually every 1 tile. The reason why I say that is because every single time you fight, you charge that regalia gauge. So it's actually going to matter a lot more when you get to like area 70. It's going to depend on your regalia gauge more for surviving than if you didn't have regalia gauge. And the reason why I say to do that on area 50 is because you actually unlock 5-star materials for equips around area 46 and up. So here's me every 1 tile battling here. As you get higher, your units are going to take more and more damage from the enemy. So just keep that in note. Animation speed will matter. This is kind of a slow nuke team. Evil Eye is my quickest animation here to start dealing damage. But as you can see, we actually took a pretty significant amount of damage there. But we do kill a boss before we can even die or even get close. But yeah, just keep that in mind because animation speed will matter with nuke teams when you get to higher floors. One other thing to note, guys, about the EX bosses, Shadow, Delta, Waikatsu's really good. Diablo could also work somewhat. Amiya, Haruto, Summer, Chloe are also really good for heals. But yeah, if you guys ever are just trying to figure out what to do, I highly suggest with like any mission in the game, I highly suggest you I'm just choosing a random unit for now, but hit pass party and you can look at how people have beaten the challenge here. Basically the way these stages work is that you only get arc gauge by being hit. So Mia's really good because he puts up a shield, but you can still get hit. Running Vulcans, which burns your entire team, really good because you want to get burned because that charges up a bunch of arc gauge. Grief, like B3 Claw and Despair, those equips that damage you, also good because it charges your arc gauge up. So yeah, keep that in mind. Alright, so now I'm going to be shouting out some equips that I think are really good for you to get. So first of all, this Dead Red Saw and this Vulture Cap gonna be good for any single physical fire damage attacker. So like Sunraku would be really good with this, Delta would be really good with this. Basically you get 104 to like 118% damage up for 70 seconds, like an average. It depends about your luck for these stats, but at the very least, it's 100 damage up for at least 68 seconds, which is crazy because it stacks and it only has a 54-second CT, which means you can just have 200 damage up uptime constantly in a sustained team. And basically the same goes for this Vulture Cap. So both of these are going to be really good equips to go for. I highly recommend you guys get 5-star Magic Vulture Cap. I'm not going to be covering 6-star equips because not a lot of units have 6-star slots. That doesn't mean these equips are bad, because I actually think these are really good. It's just that your average unit doesn't have a 6-star slot, so I won't really be talking about them. So let me just get to the 5 stars. Okay, so at the very bottom here, we got this Searing Scepter. This is really good. You can actually get this with an attack buff if you're lucky enough. So you can get like 86 damage up, and then also like 90 attack up. It's really good. This is also pretty good if you want accuracy buff for team wide. This is also really good, just because general damage up for like nukes and such. So, you know, 80 damage up would be really good for just nukes in general. This is really good if you want accuracy for your team, plus it's only a 4-star. This is pretty good because there's not really many great 4-star magics. This is great because just, you know, normal arts up, which you don't really get on any 4-star magics in the game. So yeah, this is really good. This is also pretty decent because not everybody can get like an Alpha's boots. Fortunately enough for me, I have 2 Alpha's boots, you know, no need to flex or anything. But yeah, this is pretty good. Now there's also some other equips that I've seen my teammates get, and I'll show you that in a second. Alright, so right here, this is some of the equipment my teammates have gotten already. So they have Vulture Cap on the left here, which they also rolled an attack up stat with, which is insane. And then in the middle here, you've got 110 attack up, also 25 arts gauge up passive is also insane. And then you've got a 90 damage magic damage up, 62% attack up equip, the 40-second CT with a 25 art gauge up passive, which is also just insane. So yeah, these equips are actually like really good. And if you get lucky where you get a damage up and attack up stat, then yeah, you're really good luck. So yeah, it is worth it. Now, when you're making 4-star crafts, so you can actually equip a crest, and that crest passive will work, and it will stack with whatever crest you have on your unit. So here I'm gonna go for a arts gauge up, and I'm gonna do it for a 4-star magic. Now what you can also do is hit a unique Mystica, and these will actually give you any effects. You can select up to 2. So that's actually pretty important here, because if you want, you could do like, I want slight increases of magic equip, and I also want moderate. And that would basically be like a near guaranteed magic equip. I think I'm just going to do a slight chance. And if you want like specific ones, where it says Mock Beak, we'll give you Vulture Cap. That has like a high chance of that being produced when you make a 5-star. So that's really good. Then there's also these different types of kind of like elements almost for equips. I'll do that after I craft this one. Let's see what we get here. Dang, that was just a heal equip. Jan, it was fun, terrible. But you can see here the arts gauge passive I actually got equipped. So out of all my summons, I got pretty unlucky. This is the best equip I managed to summon. But anyways, hopefully my kind of quick guide helped with you guys, and good luck on your Grand Crusading out there. And hopefully I recover from my sickness.